Okay, so as you guys know, I've been hyping up the Cursed Sweep update, and we just got more information, and I genuinely think this is maybe the best update of the year. Maybe better than Tower, probably better than Tower. So I'm very hyped to kind of go over everything with you. This is a proper update, a new boss, a new stage, right? Not just a new boss, right? This is a hard mode. Because right now, they have changed the bosses, and it was the worst update ever because they dropped no new SP buffs with the new bosses or new rewards, right? There was nothing. However, this is a proper new update with actual rewards this time. We're getting cubes this time, guys. And we're gonna break that down alongside what to expect for the buffs. So let's go into it right away, and let's just start this out. So we have here. Let me put my camera over here for now. That Curse Sweep Extermination Battle on the 22nd. They're gonna be adding hard difficulty, right? And it's a bit weird because on the bottom it says it's going to unlock after the 919 update, but then here it says the 22nd. So we'll see when exactly it is. This is really weird communication. It should be on the 19th because the actual SP buffs are going in game on the 19th, but I don't know why it says the 22nd. If you have any idea why, because this is reset, but it could just come earlier. I don't get why it can't. Anyway, let me know what you think when it's coming. We'll see anyway. I'm going to be up for the update anyway. Now, it's going to give Secret Soul Drop 2 and then Soul Drop Vial 2. Now, the only annoying one in my opinion is going to be the top right. Bottom right could be annoying because you could insta-kill, but I think this one is going to be a Black Flash floor, if I remember correctly. If you Black Flash, you get rid of the insta-kill. So I think the top right is the only really annoying one that we're going to really see, so I'm fine with that. Now, what should you expect? Well, they said basically in the original thing, it's going to be stronger and more difficult. So my guess, if the enemy is more stronger, that means 1, it's going to do more damage, 2, it's going to have more HP, and 3, probably going to have a higher turn limit, because right now it's turn 17, so maybe they bring it to 25, 27. Just expect probably more turns to complete it, but also more HP and it doing more damage. I think that's all it really needs to do, and personally I'm sold, right? If it does more, that's fine. I had someone say maybe it's like after you finish like the 3rd phase, maybe now there's 4, but after you finish the 3rd, maybe it's an infinite amount of time until you die, right? Maybe you just rack up damage until you die. That could be pretty interesting. I just don't think Fan Parade has that in them to do something that cool. So yeah, that's it. So that's the bosses. Now let's get into the actual buffs, and then afterwards we're going to go over the rewards. So Potential Liberation 2nd layer added on the 19th. Potential Liberation 2nd layer will be introduced. It's going to enhance character skill effects and parameters alongside teamwork special move Potential Liberation, so combo attacks to further strengthen teamwork in special move effects. So this is interesting. We see the combo attack down here. This seems to be extra damage buffs, and I feel a bit like confused, so let me just go and check, because that looks to be not mono. It looks to be like it's not mono buffs. It could be that it was just like a universal graphic they wanted to use, but that's not a mono buff. So we'll have to see how exactly that plays into everything. Very interesting though. So what exactly, and also 5 CE with extra HP. So like I said, the extra stats is so huge, especially with units with dupes. That's going to multiply so high. So I'm really happy that they're doing this. But the combo effect, what it could be like, for example, Megumi, a recent unit, right? He gives 30% damage to him and the combo ally for 3 turns, where on launch we had someone with 10% combo damage for 2 turns. So I think they're going to do little changes where it's like now you're going to give more combo damage for old units, or it could also be that they're going to give different effects. So maybe you give damage reduction, maybe you give ult gauge increase, maybe you're going to give specific red type damage 50% increase. So it could be things like that, and that's what I'm personally expecting from the buffs itself. Now let's go into here and basically talk about it. So thank you to the wiki and also Nameless for translating. Like always, go check it out. I'm always active if you want to have a chat with me in the JP Phantom chat. So first part, stage 2 will focus more on stat buff and combo ultimate. However, we do know it's also going to buff the potential auto skill and SP skill, because it's very possible that it does, right? Because it says here in Potential Liberation 2, in addition to enhancing character skill effects. So to me personally, that does mean it's going to be that it's going to also have probably 1 skill that it's going to buff. So that's cool. So also the first batch of stage 2 characters will be revealed, which we're going to talk about right after. I think I have an idea of who it's going to be personally. Now on the 21st, but it might be on the 19th, I'm not sure. We're going to get hard difficulty. Now for clearing each boss, you're going to obtain 250 cubes for each rank. And it goes only to rank 10 once again, which is very interesting. That probably means, oh, but wait. Is there 4 phases? I think there's 4 phases now, guys. Because if they're doing 250 cubes per, that probably means there's 4 phases. So one phase is 1 to 3, phase 2 is 4 to 6, phase 3 is 7 to 9, and phase 4 is 10. Maybe. If it is the case, that would be interesting. But let me know what you think. Maybe they're just splitting it up like this, but that's my thoughts. So every part that you complete, you get 250 cubes. There's 4 parts, so you get 1,000 cubes per boss. There's 4 bosses, you get 4,000 cubes. Now you might be like, oh, but that's good. It's not crazy. But what is crazy is that they confirmed that this will be refreshed when new batches of Curse releases. So we're gonna get the 4,000 every time they update it, and that's insane to me. Right, because we literally want an anniversary update. This is to make up for the anniversary. Guys, keep in mind, the anniversary updated, right? On the 26th, we got the new Cursed Sweep bosses. Not a single drop of rewards for this. But now we know that every time they do update it, now it's going to be 4,000 cubes for the hard mode. So I'm very happy, even if it's like, this was 4 months after it came out. I would be fine if this was every 4 months, because 4,000 cubes is a decent bit, right? If you consider it with a second update, it's going to give more than Tower does on average, right? Because that's 4,000 cubes already, which is almost as much as Tower. And then it's also going to be buffing our units for Tower. So this mode is actually becoming quite good, right? As a mode, I'm very happy. Now, what am I expecting from, like, because if there's going to be buffs on that second floor, right? Like on this side, it's probably going to be the buff. If there's going to be the buffs on the second floor, what am I expecting? Well, we know right now there's only 14 SP buffs. And if we check them, most of them are still very good. So because of that, I feel like these guys are out of the running for even being able to get a second buff. However, the first set, they could definitely do it. So like Green Yuji cannot get it, but like units like Red Nobara, Blue Megumi, Red Maki, Yellow Nobara, Blue Megumi, Green Nanami, and like Blue Toto can. Right, and I think Blue Toto would be a hype-ass buff, right? Because then he might become a really proper unit to use as a DPS for Taijutsu. So these units could get a second one, and like for Nanami, for example, his skill 2, it gives crit rate and break damage. What if it gives crit damage? Because after that, crit damage suddenly is going to make him absolutely insane. Because he has a 1,200% ult, or sorry, a 1,600% ult with 100% crit damage. If you buff that crit damage almost to 200%, this guy's actually going to be like minimum tier 0.5. Because he's going to have the break damage. He's going to have the overall, maybe consistency of doing, well, actually, no, he can't use this skill 3. So, that might be a problem. Maybe give him like 5 CE per turn. That could be cool. But, you know, with his ult, he could end up being pretty good in terms of doing some good nuke damage if they also add crit damage to this. So he might be a very solid sweep unit if you put Kaido on the team and he has the crit damage, right? We'll have to see. But overall, I would definitely say Nanami could have a good shot at it. Nobara, also, they could buff another one. So it's basically going to be buffing a skill they didn't buff before. It could also be a passive buff, right? They could buff the passive. So maybe now she's going to get 30% crit rate and 50% crit damage, something like that. So they buff the ult, they buff the skill 3. What if now they buff the skill 2? What if they give Jujutsu damage? And then what if they also give, I don't know, damage increase? You apply a debuff on the enemy. So things like that is what you should be expecting from these units. So that's my guess, is they're going to buff one skill and they're going to buff obviously the combo damage, but for everyone. So I think buffing one skill makes more sense. Also, we could see there's only one node here that unlocks to the left. So that's my guess, is that it's only going to be one skill that they're buffing. And it seems it's going to be like universal damage increase, which I think is really interesting. Not that it really matters because we're running mono anyway, but maybe for the future they're setting up to where it's like they're going to expand past mono teams. We'll have to see how that works. But if that is the case, that would be pretty interesting. I'm not going to lie. So yeah, we know we're getting the new bosses. Could be interesting. We know it's hard mode. And we know we're getting 4,000 cubes every single update. Every time they update this, that's the biggest part to me. 4,000 cubes. I'll definitely take it. Also, the 19th, we should be getting a new event. Right? We should be getting a new event. So this update might have like close to like 8,000 cubes. Because we should be getting a map event, right? We don't have our map event, and Toji's event, the formidable battle, ends on the 19th or the 18th, right? So my guess is that we're going to be getting a map event. So that's pretty cool too, how much cubes we're going to be getting in that time frame. I'm all for that. I am all for that. So yeah, sweep now is going to be pretty interesting. Very excited for the stat buff, because now some units are actually going to be more usable. Once again, they're making tower easy, so I hope sweep is really difficult. We're going to find that out in 5 days. I'll definitely be there, but most importantly, in 5 days, we're going to know who's getting buffed. That is very hype. So let me know what you guys think. I think this is really cool that sweep is going to be giving 4,000 cubes every single time they decide to update it, maybe 2 to 3 times a year. So that is honestly pretty nice, considering this mode is basically meant to let your units become stronger. Finally, they realized they should also be giving cubes. What a W. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.